Is up, everybody? 2:29 p.m. December 9th, 2017. Really quick before we get into tropical tidbits, this is a quick video from Glenmore, PA, which is kind of near Philly, so they're even getting snow right now from this system moving through. I'm not sure if this is exactly lake effect snow, but I know Buffalo and Watertown are getting that snow. I have a couple things pulled up for you as far as accumulations expected between now and the end of the 11th, which seems to be a little bit lower than that 2 foot range. Some areas absolutely might get that 2 feet, but a lot of the areas, including, like I said, Buffalo and Watertown, and basically every area of the border of New York moving north, from western New York all the way to north New York, where Watertown is expecting lake effect snow in some significant amounts. So, again, like I said, some of these accumulations might get up to 2 feet, but what it's looking like to me is closer to 1 to 1.5 feet in some of those areas. So let's check that out now. I have you pulled up here on... Oh, actually, really quick, before I go any further, on Instagram, I posted a video, if you see where my mouse is, by Australia. This buoy was going off for about almost 48 hours. There was a little bit of a rise and then a quick dip in the sea level here, and it actually triggered this buoy. Now, there was no tsunamis or anything like that, but it was just interesting that this buoy was actually activated for so long. So I looked into it for a while. I kept checking it every few hours. Turns out to be really a non-issue. There were no immediate earthquakes around that time in this area. There was one off the coast of Western Australia, but I don't think it was anything big enough to really cause a disturbance with this buoy. So again, I'm still looking into it to see what exactly caused it. Some of the other people that do the earthquake updates, and they're much better on it, you might want to look into those pages and see if they've seen anything on it. But as you can see right now, it is not moving anymore, but that was a good 36 to 40 hours this thing was pulsing right here. So I found that pretty interesting. The last time we had any sort of disturbance with any of these buoys was back in early November, so it is a little rare to see that happen. So I just wanted to point that out. But as far as the situation we're dealing with now, I have you on the GFS here on Tropical Tidbits. Before I move forward on the chart, as of right now, they're expecting between the 10th of December and Monday, December the 11th. These are the accumulations they're expecting. So you can see Buffalo right here, more so in that 4 to 6 inch range, and then a little bit south of that in Eden and in areas of Casadaga, I believe it's pronounced. They're the areas that are going to get more of that lake effect snow, between 8 and 12 inches. Now, these are just estimates. Some of these, especially closer to the lake, like 5 or 6 miles in from this lake, you could easily see snow up to 2 feet, guys. So this is something you definitely want to keep an eye on if you live in these areas. And you can also see how this has extended across the entire border of New York. Now, also, you can see right to the east of the lake here are the highest accumulations. That's how this lake effect snow works. That cold air, the wind is coming west to east across the U.S., and then the dip in the cold air from Canada is what's mixing right over these big lakes, which are big enough to almost act like oceans with different tides and stuff like that. So the amount of water and just that cold air pushing across the surface of these lakes is what causes these heavy snow amounts, and that's why you see these deep blues here, and then you get up here right to the east of the lake again, you get that 8 to 12 in Pulaski, and then we have Watertown up here. Now, if you remember in the previous video I made a couple days ago, Watertown and Buffalo were the main areas expected to get hit. But if you notice now, because some of that wind is coming down from Canada, it's pushing all that snow down into some of those southern areas of New York, like Eden and Casadaga right here. So it's just another little lesson for people that are trying to understand this lake effect snow deal, because we don't get it everywhere. It only happens where you get big lakes that are actually big enough to affect weather once they hit the land. So I find that pretty interesting. There are areas all over northern New York that are going to get snow because of this. Like I just showed you near Philadelphia, they're already getting snow, and that really doesn't have much to do at all with the lake effect snow. That's just moisture moving up from the south up the northeast, and then mixing with that big dip of cold air we're having from Canada. So Canada is really playing a huge part in these snow amounts that we're getting. So you can see here we got Lockport, Albion, we got Rochester. Sodus is expected to get a little more than 3 to 4 inches. I think they're going to get closer to a foot. Basically, all these areas you see here, especially 5 to 10 miles to the east of any part of the lake, that's where you're going to see your heaviest snow. And then you could see the wind and the cold air, just based on these charts here, looks to be moving west to east in a direct pattern. You could see it here too. So if you just follow my mouse, it's going this way, like straight lines across, and that's where you're going to see the highest parts of these snow. So, on with Tropical Tidbits and our possible blizzard for Christmas. I know we're pretty much a couple weeks out from Christmas, but if you see what I'm looking at here, I'll explain it a little bit more. We're set up for the 6th right now. This is the GFS we're looking at. And we'll move it up to the 9th, which would be present time, which is right now. So here is the 9th. So this is the area right here that they were expecting to cause all these issues in New York, and that's already out into the ocean. So now what we're dealing with is a smaller system, but it's clearly big enough. You can see a little bit of green right here. That is actually what's causing and coming off of these lakes here and causing the snow. Now if I move into the 10th, like that, or I'm sorry, I'm on the 10th now. If I move into the 11th, you can see the green up here, and you can see a little bit of green right by where that area of Buffalo is. And that's all it takes, guys. All it takes is the right amount of dip in the jet stream pulling that air from Canada, and the right wind movements moving west to east across the U.S. from the jet stream, and we could have 1 to 2 feet of lake effect snow without any system being formed at all. And that's why it's so specific with lake effect snow. You could have 1 to 2 feet in one town, and then 2 and 3 miles to the east or west of that area, you could have no snow whatsoever. So it's very interesting how the lake effect snow works. Now, with all that said, I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about that. I'm sure you're tired of hearing of it. But I want to show you guys something interesting as we move into the future here. This is the 12th. Now, if you notice, we're still dealing with a dip here. This is a dip in the jet stream. Anytime you see the dip come down into the U.S. in these winter months or these colder months, you can guarantee this is all cold air being pulled down. So once again, we're going to have a low pressure moving over western and northern New York and then the rest of the Northeast on December 12th. And then you see these greens here, that's moisture. So this again could be another snow event for areas of Buffalo, Watertown, Lockport, all those areas I just mentioned in New York. You can see it's kind of sticking right to New York as far as it goes right now. That may change, but that's the whole point of this lake effect snow. You don't need these big weather systems to cause this to happen. Now we'll move forward again. And again, all this can change, guys. Again, once you get into 3 to 5 days of prediction, there's a lot that can change. Here's a system here they're showing around the 15th that could bring some significant weather to Florida and those southern states here. But what I really want to show you is what's coming up and what could possibly be happening very much closer to Christmas time. And you're going to see it right about... Here we go. Now, this thing does not look good to me. Now, all we have to do is back this up one day. Now, you can see clearly here, according to the predictions, there's going to be a dip in the jet stream. We are going to be into winter at this point. The 24th is just the beginning of winter, just the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve. Now, all we're talking here, guys, is if this shifts, this big system I'm looking at right here, if we have just an hour a day that this thing slows down, that could add up to this entire system being right over the entire Northeast. Now look at how dense this system is here. You can guarantee there's going to be some massive snow going on. If this were to stay true right now, the amount of snow in this area would be incredible with this system here. So we're talking about a very big situation that could be lined up for exactly Christmas Day. It may be the day before Christmas. It could be a Christmas Eve into Christmas type deal. But again, it's all timing. And I know we are a good 2 weeks and a little bit more away from this being possible. But I had to point this out to you guys because seeing a system this dense, that is something definitely to look at. Anyone who follows weather, who looks at these charts, and you see this size of a deep purple like that, you can expect that this system's very significant. So let me back it up. I'm going to hit play from the 21st just so you guys can get an eye for it and how this is moving. 22nd, 23rd, there's the 24th, and Christmas Day right there is the last frame. So I'll move it forward again. We'll get to Christmas Day All right, well, there's Christmas Eve. You can see all we need to look for is that low dip in the jet stream, and that means that this entire area here is very cold air being pulled down from Canada. And we clearly have the dip here. That dip is already going down towards south. We've had some snow in the south, which is very rare this time of year, and that's all due to the jet stream, guys. Anytime you see those deep U's, we talked about that all during hurricane season. We weren't dealing with the cold air that would cause snow at that time because it was the summer months and fall. But now that we're dealing with winter months, all this air and all this area up here in Canada is ice cold. So you can see the weather almost following that low jet stream. You can see how here it's up. The jet stream dip is up in this area, and then it lowers over the Atlantic Ocean. But as we move forward into the 21st, the 24th right here, you can see the weather follows that dip. So it's going to be very cold in these areas. And like I said, an hour a day, if this thing slows down, we could see this system. This is the 24th. You can see the middle of the low is right here right now, right off the coast of Massachusetts, Long Island, all those areas here, Maine, Vermont. So if this were to shift over even just 300 miles to the west on Christmas Day, we could be talking about a massive, massive snowstorm, almost like we saw last year that covered the entire Northeast. Where I was at that point, we had over 3 feet of snow, and that was nothing compared to what this looks like right here. This thing right here is a monster storm. Now, again, all this has to do is be over in this area. As time goes on, I'm going to follow this very closely. A lot can change in that amount of time, but absolutely worth showing you guys. Could you imagine one of the biggest blizzards? If this thing were to happen over the Northeast, I can see this easily bringing 3 to 4 feet of snow. Even though it's moving kind of quickly, it's just the amount of moisture that is expected inside of this. Like these deep purple colors, that's pretty significant. And again, this is the 24th right here. We have our clear dip. This is all cold air, so any moisture that touches the Northeast, and even in West Virginia, even areas of West Virginia could see significant snowfall from this. So this is something definitely to keep an eye on, guys. I'm going to be more frequent in these posts. Really quick, check this out one more time. These are the accumulations expected for areas near Buffalo, Eden, and Casadaga. And then we got Pulaski and Watertown up here. Again, these are the two areas they expected to get the most snowfall, but that both of these areas have shifted a little bit south, and that's due to the wind direction. So now the winds are coming more of a straight west to east instead of a swirl that was coming down and then coming up into Watertown, making that the highest accumulations. So that's where we're at now, guys. I will be updating later on today. Hopefully, if not, then definitely tomorrow morning. I know I have not been uploading as much. It is not my fault. I promise you guys that. This is all I want to do. I wish I could just sit here and make you guys videos all day long. I appreciate all the support from you guys on Patreon, all that stuff. It means so much to me that you guys are still interested in this. I'm doing my best to keep busy on this channel. I don't want to lose you guys. I have some of the best subs on YouTube, clearly. All you got to do is go through the comment section. Besides... Excuse me. Besides a few knuckleheads here and there, which you have to deal with as a YouTube creator, I can't see another channel that has more loyal subs than I have on this channel. So I just want to thank you guys for that so much. You have no idea what it means to me. I was going through my personal issues and stuff over the last couple of weeks. Things are getting much better. I'm going to have a little more time freed up so I can stay on this channel, keep you guys posted. I don't want you to get worried that I'm going anywhere. It's not happening, and this channel is going to live on. I can promise you that much. So again, I want to thank you all for the comments, for all the emails on Instagram, Twitter, my Gmail account, all this stuff, guys. It really means the world to me. So with that said, also, that video I just showed you, I want you guys... if you would like to post your own videos and pictures or send them to my email, you can find my email in the information or in the boxes, the description boxes under any of these videos. Send me any pictures you want, any video you have of any crazy weather. I will gladly post them. I will gladly credit you guys, whoever sends them to me. And that's what we have as of right now, guys. We may be dealing with a severe snowstorm on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, possibly. Look at that thing. That is huge. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.